The 4-4-2 goal machine claims to be the best attacking and best defensive tactic on the market today. But now we all know how these tactic talks go. People claim to be, all their tactics are these massive things, and then they fizzle out. How'll this one stack up? Let's take a look. As you can see, definitely a good choice for Man City. 92 points, tops the Premier League. This is the second tactic I've seen in FM23 that actually gets Man City to the top over Liverpool. Bournemouth, however, they've definitely excelled after getting a media prediction of dead last. Leeds, however, were media prediction of 10th, have dropped to 13th. So Bournemouth 51 points, Leeds with 49. I will say, not a massive difference right here. So from 53 to 46 is not a big difference. It's only a couple of matches that you could have won, a couple of draws that you could have gotten 2 extra points for. Overall, not too bad. I mean, Leeds definitely could have done a little better. Bournemouth doing fantastic. Man City really doing fantastic. But let's take a look at the tactic. As we know, this is a 4-4-2, and like most others, it is an attacking-minded tactic. It is a personalized tiki-taka. You've got a sweeper keeper on defense in back, 2 fullbacks in support. You got a ball-playing defender on the left, with a central defender, center back, on the right. You got 2 wingers in attack. You've got a central midfielder on support, a deep line playmaker on support, an advanced forward on attack, and a complete forward on support. So that is the structure of it. In possession, fairly wide attacking width. Approach play is pass into space, overlap on the left and right with play out of defense. Standard passing directness, slightly higher tempo, work the ball in the box, low crosses, and run at defense. In transition, counter press, counter, distribute quickly, which is a new one that we haven't seen much of. Take short kicks, distribution type. Out of possession, you'd see a high press line of engagement, a higher defensive line, which tends to be fairly standard for these attacking ones that we've seen. Prevent short goalkeeper distribution, trigger press much more often, and get stuck in. So there's your tactic. It seems to have worked for the big boys, and let's get into the schedules. So Man City, sea of green with a handful of losses here and there. You can see they did lose out to Inter in the Champions League quarterfinals. Real Madrid, you got through. Who else? You got through a couple teams. Leipzig, Benfica, Lech Ponzan. Wow. Never heard of them before. But starting off, Tottenham 5-0 win at home. That was a fantastic result. Bournemouth, there's one of our boys, 6-0 at home. Ouch. I mean, we all know that Haaland and De Bruyne and all these guys in Man City can score loads. And we've gotten some very high-scoring games with Man City. But we're seeing a lot of high-scoring games. I mean, Lech Ponzan, though, 3-0, 5-0. You'd expect that. Portsmouth, 3-0. 4-0 over Brighton, though. 5-0 over Fulham. Leeds, 2-0. Leeds again, 7-0. These teams, Man City's just crushing them left and right. FA Cup quarterfinals out in extra time against Man United. So Inter, they draw at home, but they lose away. So they did finish off the season strong. Bournemouth 4-1 away from home win. Not too shabby. It doesn't look like they got much competition, though. Liverpool, they did win in the FA Cup, FA Community Shield. So that's at least 2 trophies for them. Let's keep that in mind. Leeds, though, if we look at the schedule, a lot more spotty as usual. Definitely probably a lot more spotty than Bournemouth. Starting off the season nicely with a 4-3 win away from home against Southampton. Losing, however, their home opener 0-1 to Bournemouth. That's got to be tough. Not as great results as Man City, obviously. Man City 0-2 at home. So they've actually kept it a low-scoring match there. 7-0, though, away from home. Not able to do so much there. Bournemouth 2-1. And then finishing off the season in horrendous fashion. If they won any of those, I mean, Arsenal's always a tough one to beat, but Newcastle, West Ham, Fulham, if they could have beaten them, 0-5. That could have gotten some points that could have brought them up a little bit closer to their media prediction of 10th. But unfortunate for them, as you can see, out of the FA Cup 4th round against Tottenham, out again in the quarterfinals of the EFL against Man United. Man United probably won, I'm going to assume. But if we look at Bournemouth, schedule-wise, starting off their season with a draw at home against Man United, which is fantastic. EFL Cup, you got a nice win. You got a sea of bad, though, there. One win against Tottenham, which is a fantastic result. But from, what is it, 8/27, so August 27th, all the way down to October 30th, they had one fantastic win and nothing else. That was a very bad run of form. And then just a whole bunch of red there. Losing to Arsenal as they come back from the World Cup. Losing to Liverpool. A tough season for them. Losing out in the end. Leeds, you can see 1-2 loss at home. 6-0 against Manchester United. That is tough. But if we look at competitions, sticking with Bournemouth, knocked out in the third round by Newcastle, knocked out in the third round by West Brom. They're not doing well in the third round. Go to Leeds competitions. You can see knocked out in the fourth round by Tottenham, knocked out in the quarters by Manchester United. And now this is the drum roll, please. Knocked out in the quarters by Inter, knocked out in the quarters by Manchester United. So they did win the Carabao Cup. They did win the FA Community Shield 2-0. Seems to be the big score for them. 2-0 over Liverpool. Overall, 3 trophies is not a bad season. The biggest ones, minus the Premier League, though, still can't get their hands on a UEFA Champions League. FA Cup, quarterfinals, not a great position for them. But overall, it's an average season from the tactic talks that we've been doing. They seem to be getting at least 2 to 3 trophies a season, if not more. But still, Premier League title, Community Shield friendly, Carabao Cup, not too bad. They're doing well. And as we end with the stats, as we always do, Man City with 113 goals, Bournemouth with 67. Fewest shots against Man City, no others. Most possession, Man City in 8th with 54. They don't seem to be a heavy possession team no matter what. Most dribbles made, Man City, Bournemouth, and Leeds, all in the top 5, which is fantastic to see. Fewest conceded, Man City, no one else. Most shutouts, Everton with 18. 15 shutouts. Where did Everton finish? 9th. Sorry. 16 wins, 18 shutouts. So a couple of those draws. But that is, wow. Just wow. I mean, Leeds with most tackles won. Bournemouth, again, you'd expect that. Or at least I would expect that. Tottenham, best pass completion. Nobody else. It's not a passing tactic, apparently. Most shots for Man City with 872. Bournemouth with 490. That is quite a drop. Most points, Man City, 2.42. There you go. Player reviews, 48 for Haaland. So definitely not too bad. Kiefer Moore. Where's Solanke? Solanke's dropped to 5th. Kiefer Moore, though, with 23. Solanke with 22. Most assists. Bernardo Silva with 12. Philip Billing at 10. And Sergio Gomez at 10 as well. Most player of the match awards, Haaland and Solanke with 8. So not too bad. Completion rate, you got Aymeric Laporte. Most dribbles made, you got Sinistera. Fewest conceded. Oh, wow. Kayman Keller. What happened to... I've just got to take a look. Wow, Keller was used 21 times, Allison 30. That's interesting. I wonder did Allison have an injury? Yes, he did. He had 5 weeks with a sprained knee ligaments and then a fractured lower leg for 2 months. So there's your Keller right there. And they still came in second. So not too bad at all. Most shutouts, there you go. Ederson. Tackles 1, Christie. Passes, Sergio Gomez, Mahrez, and Christie and De Bruyne. But what I want to see is right there. Erling Haaland, 8.25 average rating. Mahrez got a 7.43. That's the first time I've seen him up there. Phil Foden with a 7.37. Solanke with a 7.33. Silva with a 7.24. And Julian Alvarez in 13 with 7.19. If you want Haaland scoring like crazy, this is definitely a tactic to look at. Overall, I would say an average tactic for the tactics we've actually looked at. There have been some that have been much higher and some that I'll be covering that are much higher. Some are a lot lower. So if you're a top level team, probably a good thing to look at, but they're better out there. If you're a Bournemouth that's supposed to be dead last, definitely could be some better out there, but this is, a good average one to look at if this is the first one you've downloaded. Leeds, however, you're well above relegation by 12 points. So the fight wasn't there. It's just you guys could have gotten a couple more points to bring it up. But anyway, that is the 4-4-2 goal machine tactic 2.0 apparently. So I would say it's not bad, but they're better out there. So let's keep looking. But for the FMB channel, I am Stefan FM. Thank you as always for watching. Take care and enjoy.